Here's this beautiful overlook right here. And that is so pretty. Amazing how the mountains just come down here in that flat valley, and then in the back you can see mountains coming up over there. It's really beautiful. And this flat part runs all the way back over here, and it's just surrounded by mountains. I think this would be a wonderful place to live. Really pretty. This is still Virginia. Mile marker about, I think it's mile marker about maybe 96. And well, if you look it up on the map, you would find this right here. Whoops, Iron Mine Hollow. And then you got this beautiful view right here. You can see the mountains way in the back. Here we are with Old Yeller. Yeah, she's loaded down. Really need a trailer, don't I? I got one. Just need to put a hitch on it and stuff like that. But she's been riding like a dream, running like a dream. And I've put, let's see how many miles we got on her now on this trip right here. 942 miles on this trip so far. I gotta turn that flash on. The reason I have flash on is because, like, when you take pictures of yourself, like your selfies, and I'm using one of these rods right here, is that you get a shadow on your face when you take pictures, and so you use a flash to lighten up your face and all. So that's one of the tricks you use for flash photography, even in this bright sunlight. Otherwise you get a shadow over your face from your hat or whatever. Okay, this is Mabry Mill Restaurant, Craft, and Store here. And nice motorcycles. It's got a sign up here. And it's got some interesting things to look at. We're going to look at those. Make sure this is back normal size. And this is an Indian motorcycle. I always loved the Indian. These nice Harleys here. Let's see what this says right here. We can read it later. Blue Ridge community. And love this old mill grinding stuff. Restaurant and lodges up here, I'm sure. And you can see the Indian right there in the middle. Just hard to beat the Indian chief. And on the front fender too. Water wheel repair. I'll read this later. It's the mill. It's really interesting how they work. Here we go. Funny looking ducks. One over here. Yellow butterfly. But isn't this pretty right here? See that wheel turning, grinding corn, whatever, to make meal. And that's the trough up here where the water runs down and turns the wheel. Wow. Just like going back to prehistoric America back 100 years ago. Okay, you can see the wheel turning there. And a trough is dropping water coming from a creek or some other source normally. Oh, look, it's drizzling. This is kind of walkway from the mill over here. And these old style buildings here. And there's the trough. This right here is the blacksmith shop, looks like. I see a fire in there. Yeah, it's the way it was in the mountains here. They have singing and stuff like that here too, at times. It's an old wagon. That blacksmith shop was 100 years old. And let's see, a homemade soap recipe. I've seen that before. And you got cast iron bucket here. Not sure what that is. Oh, this is pretty neat here. Not sure how that worked. Exactly, you pull that thing, it's like it cuts in the ground and does something. That wheel rotates and does something. And here's the building here. They kept stuff in here, and that's the blacksmith shop in the center. Not sure exactly what that was right there. There's an old wagon over there too, and another structure. I like somebody over there weaving in the distance here. This is a blacksmith shop. You see it's a log cabin. It's about 100 years old. It's amazing, it's still standing. This right here, I think this is what they used to make syrup with, maybe like a filtering system. Because I know that this gadget here, they put a horse or oxen or something on the end of this pole, and it would go around in circles, and you put sugar cane between those two front rollers and squeeze out the sugar and stuff, and then they heat it up and make a sugar syrup out of it, whether it's like sugar cane syrup. And I think I've seen this right here before. I can't remember how they used this though. It had something to do, I think, with the boiling process. You got like a little chimney here. Okay, here's the back side of that blacksmith shop. Well made, isn't it? And then we got the mill down here. The old checkerboard system set up, and old spinning wheel. This is an old cabin here. Let's see, some thick wood here. And I know what this is. This is a loom. And this is shuttle. Okay, the Appalachian house. Read this later. That's a glare. It's pretty neat. This really looks vintagely old too. It's original. It's all kind of had the loom in there and some spinning wheels for weaving and all that. Very neat. The bark mill. Tanner used this horsepower machine to grind oak and hemlock bark for tanning. Oh, that's interesting. Bard produced bark liquor for tanning hides. You put a mule or something on the end right there to walk around in a circle. And this thing here spins around and chews up the bark. Pretty neat. And this is the little weaving house. Boy, it looks like it's going to rain. How dark it is over there. Saw a bunch of these wooden fences right here, which is really neat, and how long these things last. Some hard work making these fences. Lumber drying rack. In order to keep the lumber straight after you cut it, you'd have a rack to lay it up on. Pretty cool. And this is our mill. And here are the grinding stones. Different ways these stones were cut depending on how fine a grain you wanted. I guess coarse, medium, and real fine on these millstones. Wheel turning here. A huge wheel. This is the old mill. And the millstones, different types. And a rack here for drying timber. And they've got an old sawmill in here too. It spins a big blade, cuts the wood. Nice Harleys. There is a Indian chief over here. Time to go. The Indian in the red. Got a couple of girl riders. They're it. There goes the Indian. That's a really pretty bike.